Alrighty, so today, first of all, sorry for the sore throat. Today I'm going to be talking about meal prep, and this is something I hear you guys doing a lot. It's something that I see people turning to a lot in terms of nutritional approaches as far as people trying to get in better shape. And what I want to do today is I want to give you guys hopefully some clarity on what meal prep either will or won't do for you. So whether it's a miracle or a total mistake. And I'm going to go over the top 4 claims in terms of what I hear people say about why they chose meal prep. And then I'm going to give you guys my opinion on whether those claims are true and accurate or false and totally off. So hopefully I'll be able to give you guys enough information to where you can make a decision on whether meal prep is something you should be using in your get in shape strategy or not. So first of all, people will tell me that they think meal prep makes everything really easy. This claim I would say is a big fat false. And that is because just because you select your food in advance. So let's say you've got the full week's worth of breakfast, lunch, and dinner picked out, it's in Tupperwares, it's ready to go. Just because you've done the work of selecting those meals in advance, it doesn't make it any physically easier to decide to eat that food. There's a lot of other factors involved that go into making a diet sustainable and something that you can actually stick to. Just to throw a few things out there, you've got to know if you're eating enough protein. Okay, you have to know if you're in a caloric, if you're wanting to lose weight, for example, in a caloric deficit, but not in too much of a caloric deficit to where you're starving all the time. You got to make sure you're having enough fiber, okay? So none of those things are going to be addressed if you're just picking meals off of a meal prep website. Another thing is that cravings, if you're someone who deals with extreme hunger or hunger swings, or you feel like there's certain foods that you cave into every single time, there's going to be specific things that you have to learn about. Again, if the fiber, protein, those are a few of the ones that I already mentioned, but there are scientific ways to make those hunger extremes and cravings stop occurring. And I'll tell you that one of the ways that will not fix that thing from happening is by just picking meals in advance. There's a lot more to it than that. Second thing that people will tell me is that it's quick, especially when we're talking about going with a meal prep company that exists online. You know, people will say that it's really quick to just go through the menu, pick what they want to eat for the week, hit the button, and order the food. And I would say that that's true. That gets a true from me, but I think that I've got an asterisk here, and that is because I think there are other ways of being proactive with your meal choices that are also quick. In other words, something I tell my clients to do is batch cooking. So that does not mean meal prepping absolutely everything you're going to eat for the week and putting it into containers, but it means cooking things in batches. So cook a lot of chicken for the week, cook some lean ground beef, you know, get yourself some lean protein options ready to go in large amounts so it's there when you need it. Same goes for complex carbs and healthy fats. Have stuff ready to go in batches, but don't necessarily tie yourself down to deciding what you're gonna have for every single meal. Anyway, a lot of times when people say that it's quick, they really just mean that it's that they don't have to make decisions. So in terms of it being the only quick strategy you can use in order to prep your food, as long as people have a little bit of guidance and they know what to make at home, making stuff at home really doesn't take that long. So yes, it's quick, but I would also say that there are other options in terms of how to quickly prepare your food for the week as well. This next one I hear all the time, and that is that people think meal prep is a way to have a foolproof nutritional approach. In other words, hey, if I pick all of my meals and decide that they're going to exist inside these Tupperwares, then I won't eat anything that's not in a Tupperware, and therefore I won't fall off the wagon. Well, that claim I think is completely false, and not only do I think it's false, but I think thinking that way, I think actually sets you up to fail way more than if you had a more flexible strategy. If that's all you're doing and that's all you know how to do, and you don't really know how nutrition works, you don't know how flexible dieting works, you don't know how to approach food outside of ordering meals from a meal prep company, then you're gonna fall off the wagon. Our lives, just by their very nature, require us to be flexible with our food options. So even if you think you have a week where there's nothing going on, something is going to come up that will require you to eat something that's not in a Tupperware. Whether it's a business lunch or you end up with a date on Friday night and you're gonna go eat out. Weekends, you know, I can't think of a single weekend where I haven't eaten at least one meal out of the house. Also mentally, this just isn't helpful. This just isn't a helpful way to think because it's kind of extreme. There's a principle that explains when we make something off limits and you're saying you're just gonna eat what's in the Tupperware and everything else is off limits, it makes us want that thing more. So even just in a mental sense, it's not a good idea, and you're more likely to deviate from what's in the Tupperware if you're telling yourself that's all you're gonna eat. Lastly, I hear people tell me that it's simple. You know, it's really simple. All I have to do is now go online, pick what I want to eat for the week, and boom, I'm done. Or, you know, in terms of meal prep, all I have to do is just decide what I'm gonna eat in advance, put it in Tupperwares, and I'm ready to go. And I would say that statement is true, but it's unfortunately true because the concept of meal prep is really simple. It's just that it's not the full picture. So it's like one puzzle piece of a 100-piece puzzle. Does it allow you to simply choose what you're gonna eat in advance? Yeah, it does. But is that all that there is in terms of getting in shape? Like, is that all you've gotta do? No, it's not. So essentially, if that's the only thing that you're doing to get in shape and you think that's gonna fix all of your fitness problems, you're gonna be left scratching your head, and I don't want you to do that. So there's a lot of other factors that go into getting in shape, and certainly that go into having a sustainable nutritional approach. The ones that people really miss, I think, with meal prep is the flexibility piece. You know, are you able to deviate from whatever you decided that you were gonna eat and still make a good choice that doesn't derail you from all of your fitness progress? What are you eating? In other words, are you allowed to still eat your favorite foods, you know? Or is some junk food allowed? Meal prepping doesn't necessarily teach you anything. There's a lot of stuff that you do have to learn in terms of how to control hunger and how to eat and the questions that you want to be asking yourself when you sit down to a meal. And there are a lot of concepts behind that you have to learn in order to really rewire yourself to know how you approach food. And simply picking a meal prep company or putting your food in Tupperwares by yourself at your house, that's not really teaching you those concepts. So if this is something you're turning to be your solution to everything in terms of nutrition, you just have to know that it's missing a lot of things, okay? And it's not a full picture by itself. Now, are there some things about meal prep that are true? Yes. Is it the only thing in the picture? No. So ultimately, I think that meal prep is a tool. I think it should be used as a tool after you learn some of the other bigger, more important concepts. Another thing, like a couple specific things that you guys need to know besides what you're eating for the week is calories and macros. So you might pick all your meals for the week in advance, cool, but are they helping you reach accurate calorie and macro goals for you? Because if it's not, it doesn't matter if it's made in advance, it doesn't matter if it's ready to go in Tupperwares, it's not gonna change your body. So there's a lot of things that you need to understand and work out before you worry about meal prep. There's a lot of alternatives that you can do besides meal prepping, you know, that are kind of a nice hybrid. But yeah, ultimately look at it as a tool. It's neither good nor bad. It can be useful if you're prioritizing it in the right way and you've got all of the other pieces of the puzzle in place. Hopefully that gave you guys some clarity on what meal prep is, what you can expect if you're using it, a few of the things that it will do and won't do for you. And as always, if you've got questions about meal prep or anything else nutrition or fitness related, drop a comment down below and I'll be back on here again soon.